Before we get into the show, there is a way that you can help support the show. A very easy way, in fact.
If you go to our website, eatlunchandboardgame.com, click on the Get the Games tab. There we have affiliate links to many of the games and books we have talked about. If you're interested in purchasing any, by clicking on the link, a small portion of your purchase will go to us.
But we promise to use the money wisely by buying more games to review.
We take our jobs very seriously.
Now on with this great episode.
I have been doing some research for a book I am writing on the history of intellectual property in board games. How it started, where it's been, and where it is now and moving forward. Along the way, I will look at variants of games that offer a playing experience adjacent to the original game. During this research, I have found a lot of crazy versions and variants. Some I knew about and some I had no clue existed. So I will be releasing podcast episode reviews of these games as I procure them and play them. So first up is 2010's You Build Mousetrap, published by Hasbro in 2010. Hasbro released 5 games in this You Build series, and I was only familiar with the Monopoly version. So I was excited to try this variant of the 1963 staple. You Build Mousetrap arrived, procured from eBay, and the kids and I sat down that evening to play it. We had done very little research into it because I wanted to go in with no expectations. We opened the box and discovered it was filled with a lot of building blocks similar to, but not, Lego. We sat around the table and set to work building the game and then playing it. So let's see how it went. Alright, welcome back to Lunch and Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins, and let's take a look at the rule clarity for You Build Mousetrap. The rules are quite clear, as you would expect from a game designed to be played by ages 6 and up. The gameplay is very straightforward. There is another booklet, and that one is the one that tells you how to build the game board. So anyone familiar with building with Lego will find these instructions also very clear. Time to explain to newcomers. I read the rules to the kids, and we were playing all within about 8 minutes. It took us longer to build the board. There is really just one small set of rules that must be looked at. Gameplay. Once the game board is assembled, which takes about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how you broke it down and put it away from the time before, setup is quite simple. Yellow blocks, screen printed to look like cheese on one side, not on all 4 for some reason, are placed pinned side down into matching holes in the game board. Then each player selects a color, taking the associated mouse marble and spaceship. That's right, You Build Mousetrap takes place in space! Why? I have no idea. Each player then places the spaceship with the marble on top on one of the landing spots in the matching colors quadrant. On a turn, the active player rolls the die and follows the rules for the result. Each result ends with the player knocking their marble off of a cheese hill in an attempt to knock the cheese blocks out of the holes. The first player to collect 10 pieces of cheese is the winner. To facilitate this launching/knocking the marble off its stand, a spaceship with the famous boot on a stick from the original game is attached to the bottom, and this is used to kick the ball free. How do you do it? You can swing it, flick it, or push with it. The rules also say you can come up with your own way to do it. Anyway, here are the possible die roll results. Cheese block. Stack one block from the board on top of another block. Cheese mountain. Players can launch a marble either from the high point of a mountain or down the long ramp of the large cheese mountain in the middle of the board. Rocket. You can move to any open landing spot on the board with your spaceship. And finally, cage. The famous cage from the original game is placed on an opponent. On that player's turn, if they roll a cage, the cage is then removed and the player moves on to launching their marble. If not, the cage is just removed and that player's turn is over. So that's it. That's the whole game. On a launch, if more than one piece is dislodged from the board, all are collected. If another player's marble falls and knocks over a piece, the active player gets to keep it. While collecting the pieces, there are colored corners for each player to stack their winnings onto. There is an optional rule, which we decided to play with, allowing players to decide to launch from the orange piece connectors in the middle of each side in lieu of just the top of the hills and the mountain. Replayability. Not much. The game is not going to change much from play to play. There are no different strategies to try. There is no interaction between players that can change with different opponents or opponents of different levels of skill. Component quality. Not surprising, the component quality is pretty good. I don't know why Hasbro didn't just partner with Lego, but the knockoffs are good enough. They click and hold together just fine. The cardboard components have held up well. I cannot speak to how much it was played by the previous owner, but everything worked just fine. Lunchtime potential. You can easily play this in a lunch half hour, even if you have to spend time putting it together at the start. I think we read the rules, built the board, and played the game all in about 45 minutes, and that was including putting it back up. So any subsequent games, should we have any, should play well under 30 minutes. Artwork. No artist or designer is listed on the BGG page for You Build Mousetrap. That is kind of a shame. The artwork on the board, the hills and tower and cheese pieces, it's pretty nice. The stickers for the die faces are also on point for the game. While the game might be a bit bland, the theme of mousetrap, cheese, and space is felt throughout. Other/expansions. None. Bang for the buck. I bought my copy of You Build Mousetrap off eBay for $12.99, shipping included. It was worth it for the research and playing with my kids. I don't think it offers much else. Summary. This will be the first episode of many brand variants coming out by Eat Lunch and Board Game. Who knows? I might even get Edward to do some. You Build Mousetrap was a nice enough game to be the first to come from my research. Stay tuned for more information on that as I have it. But back to the game. It carries an abysmal 4.2 rating with only 9 ratings on BGG. I did not know what to expect with the game, but a dexterity game was nowhere in the forefront of my mind. The game felt like a stretch for the established brand. I don't know what else you could do with such a classic, but this sure wasn't it. It could also be why there were only 2 other versions of Mousetrap. This version of You Build and a card game which I will probably have to acquire and give it a whirl. That's it, no more. Mousetrap may not be the best IP brand to branch off. This will not discourage Edward or me. We will continue to move forward and play more crazy variants. As usual, you can reach out to me at eatlunchandboardgame.com, facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame, and email me at eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com. And remember, board games build bridges. When you're gaming, why not be comfy? Go over to supportplayer.org. Click on the cards, pieces, and dice to get some merch. These t-shirts are some of the most comfortable I have ever worn. That's supportplayer.org, and there's a link on eatlunchandboardgame.com.